Hello, my fellow Ripplers. This is Chris Miles, your cash flow expert and anti-financial advisor. Welcome out for a wonderful show that's for you and about you. Those of you that work so freaking hard for your money, you're ready for your money to start working harder for you now. You want that freedom, you want that cash flow, that prosperity. So you work because you want to, not because you have to. So you can be able to be with those that you love, doing what you love, whenever the heck you feel like it. But on top of that, it's more than just your own comfort and convenience, right? It's not just about getting rich. It's about creating a life of meaning and purpose, about being a rippler by creating that ripple effect in the lives of others, blessing more lives because you are free. And as a result, you can spread that as well. And guys, I appreciate you being on here. I appreciate all the binging you guys have done. Some of you guys are trying to tackle all 400 plus episodes, and that's awesome. More power to you. I can't even stand listening to my voice that long, but I appreciate you guys do that. And hey, reminder, check out our website, moneyripples.com. There's great blogs on there. And there's the book, Beyond Rice and Beans, 7 Secrets to Free Up Cash Today if you want to find more money to invest now. So today I'm bringing on a special guest here, Lauren Hardy. So now, again, like I get different people that come to me, but when I see someone that I can tell is the real deal, right? They're not the posers. They're not fake. They're actually doing it. They're being, it's the kind of that been there, done that, and still doing it today. And that's the key. And Lauren actually is a real estate coach, an investor, and a wholesaler herself. A little bit about her. First and foremost, she's a real estate investor with a people first approach to business, right? She's invested in hundreds of properties over her career. She has a unique reputation of being a successful virtual investor, having not lived in many of the states that she invests in, which a lot of times we talk about in this show. She's also been able to persevere in extremely competitive markets by constantly following the market changes and being flexible and willing to move market territories when needed. She currently lives in Southern California and with her two daughters. And by the way, one reason I'm bringing her on the show is that she's actually like a single mom doing this stuff, like actually making this stuff happen, wholesaling, an active business, not passively investing, actively investing and rocking it right now. So Lauren, welcome to our show.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So tell us what even got you down that path of real estate in the first place?
Well, I actually have been in real estate for a very long time since I graduated college. It was always what I wanted to do. My dad had a rental property growing a rental portfolio growing up.
Nice.
Yeah, we lived in or we still live in Southern California, and my
Mhm.
dad had a portfolio in Ohio. And I just grew up around, the rental business. So I always assumed that I would get into real estate. I graduated college in 2008, and it was right during the recession, right when it
Mhm.
started. And I got into commercial real estate as my first, venture into real estate. And
Yeah.
it was a terrible time to get into it. I failed miserably, did not have a great time I was trying to be like a commercial real estate broker. And
Oh,
it was
wow.
very, yeah, that was like the worst time to
That
get
was
into
the worst time for
absolute
residential
worst
was bad, but commercial was worse.
commercial was just, yeah, terrible. But I was very lucky.
Mhm.
I got a job more on the corporate side of real estate, working in
Hmm.
franchise development for Subway restaurants.
Yeah.
At the time, Subway was doing amazing because Subway does very well in recessions because of the $5 foot long and
Yeah.
right. So
You can
we
live off
were,
that thing a whole day, for
yeah,
$5.
I know, right? Yeah. So I got really lucky because that was like a company that was expanding over a recession. So
Mhm.
I got that job at that time, hung in there for a bit. And I eventually wanted to get into investment real estate myself because I wanted to have a job where I could work from home and I could be, there for my children. Corporate world, corporate life was not fitting the bill for me.
Mhm.
So that's how it all started. And I started out as a house flipper just in my backyard.
Yeah.
When I finally like really got started into house flipping, it was 2012. So there was still quite a bit of seller distress. It was pretty easy to find property in my backyard where there was a significant discount where you could still put money into it and make a really decent return. I was
Yeah.
doing that, having a great time for the first couple years.
Mhm.
But it got really hard in my market in Southern California as the market started, doing better, heating up.
Yep.
Got really tough to find those deals. So it forced me to look at out of state properties to get the margins, that I needed to get to be able, to sustain this business.
And that's not easy. Like I'm in a mastermind group of a ton of wholesalers, and it's not an easy way to just go virtual, right? Just to go into a place like that. So how did you get through that learning curve? Like what was it you were able to figure out to make that work for you?
It's funny. It's so much trial and error. At the time, there
Mhm.
was no educators. There were no like virtual wasn't really like that common of a
Yeah.
term. So I really had to like figure it out myself. I had to go,
Mhm.
okay, what do I do in California? And now, what people can I hire to do the stuff that like you would need me there, right? So
Yeah,
like,
like
do I
boots
need
on the
what
ground
boots
type
on
stuff.
ground?
Yeah.
Um, One thing that I will say is I started virtual actually when I was in California because California has terrible traffic if anybody knows.
Hmm.
So my markets where I had some of my flip properties, it would sometimes take me 2 hours in traffic to get to them. So I would often try to get the contracts and get these houses under contract
Right.
without even seeing them because I didn't want to waste my time with a seller that wasn't that motivated that ends
Hmm.
up, I drive 2 hours and the seller never even ends up signing the contract. So
Hmm.
I kind of learned how to get really good at convincing sellers to sign contracts over the phone without
Wow.
having to meet me. So I
Yeah.
got, good at estimating repairs, without having, sight unseen.
Hmm.
And I would estimate repairs based on the description of the property that the seller was giving me, with the
Hmm.
understanding that, I do have an inspection contingency. And if I do get the property under contract, and I do go there and I see that there's something that the seller, didn't tell me about, that I could renegotiate my contract at that point. So
Right.
that was really how I started virtual. And then I thought, well, gosh, I mean, how is this any different than if the house was in Tennessee?
Yeah.
And so I
Exactly.
made it work.
Yeah. And do you just still do it over the phone, or you start doing more like with Zoom and things like that now, or?
We do everything over the phone. So I have a team now.
Wow.
I don't do our acquisitions. I
Hmm.
more manage the company and I have staff that, runs my business. I mean, like 100%. I just kind of check in about once a week for an hour to make sure we're still closing deals. I do handle all the marketing. I do a lot of seller marketing. We market direct to seller. That's how we get our deals. I don't
Hmm.
buy anything on the MLS or off the MLS.
Right.
So I manage the marketing campaign still, but yeah, I we do everything over the phone. Acquisitions is all in house,
Hmm.
and if we do have to have someone meet the seller to drop off a contract because some sellers are not, as savvy with computers,
Hmm.
we have runners that'll do that for us. So
Oh,
yeah,
great.
we've basically figured out a system and it works. And now that we've been doing it for so long, I don't really know any different. So I don't think it's that hard.
Yeah. It's a matter of pattern because I know some people, and I've heard wholesalers say this. They're like, "Well, I don't know how to not do this business where I'm not belly to belly," right? Like they
Right.
feel like they have to be face to face to earn trust, and
And
you
that
figured out a way to do it just with not even seeing you. Like it's
yeah.
just hearing your voice, right?
And
Or whoever's voice.
that's a misconception. It always makes me cringe when when I hear like other educators say, get the appointment. You have
Uh-huh.
to get belly to belly with them and all that. You have to sit on their couch and pet their cat and don't leave their house until they sign that contract. And honestly, I just laugh. I'm like, the amount of time you just took, like it to do that all like that probably took you 2 hours to drive to the seller's house, sit there, drink tea,
Mhm.
talk to them about stuff, pet their cat. Like by the time you're done doing that,
Get ringworm.
and get ringworm. I mean, by the time you like left, and what if the seller didn't even sign the contract? Do you know how many times that happened to me where the seller doesn't sign the contract and I just want to like kill myself at the end
Mhm.
of it? Like, cool, that's 2.5 hours I'm never gonna get back out of my day.
Yeah.
So I realized I was like, I could have made 5 offers over the phone to 5 sellers, and one out of the five might say yes to that offer versus
Mhm.
that one out of one that you're going for that day.
Right.
So, I mean, seller meetings are exhausting. If anybody's ever gone on them, they are exhausting. But you know what? Calling sellers on the phone is not that exhausting, and you can make 5 to, 7 offers a day pretty easily.
Hmm.
And out of those, you're likely to get a deal.
Yeah.
So that's my that's my approach on it. And I would argue, any seller, like I've never heard a seller say, "Oh, well, I'm not going to listen to your offer because you won't come to my house and tell it to me to my face,
Hmm.
belly to belly." Like no seller will say that. Every seller is going to say like, "Well, yeah, I'll listen to what you'd offer me." Like, sure, of course, you know.
Yeah.
So
That's cool. That's really cool. I think that now the timing is better than ever too, where people are already realizing they have to go virtual whether they like it or not. Like,
I know. Yeah, like, I mean, with COVID, there's no excuse. Like, you guys have
yeah,
to go virtual.
you
But
have
I
to.
think it's great. It's like, it's been amazing to be like, "Well, I can't meet you, lady, so
Mhm.
sorry."
Now you have the perfect reason, right? There's no
Right.
excuse now.
Totally.
Well, that's cool. And how do you balance this? I mean, how old are your daughters right now?
I have a 6-year-old and a 9-year-old.
Oh my goodness, that's a fun age right there. So
Yeah.
how do you make all that work together? I mean, run a successful wholesaling business and raise a family by yourself. I mean, how do you manage that?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, so I'm a single mom. I have a wonderful co-parent. Their dad is very much, how he helps me out, and we definitely co-parent very well.
Mhm.
But yeah, I do juggle a lot. I pick up my kids every day from school when they were in school.
Mhm.
Um, and I do the carpools and everything. I time block. I'm very Monday through Friday. I'm on a very strict schedule. I wake up in the morning. I work out at 8 in the morning after I drop them off from school.
Mhm.
My work day starts at about 9.
Mhm.
I skip a lot. Okay, I don't do my makeup every day. I don't
Yeah,
do my hair every day.
me
I
neither.
stay my I yeah. You don't. You know what? You look great. You're natural beauty.
Oh.
I, me not so much, but that's okay. I have to be okay with looking ugly. I sometimes will stay in my gym clothes, all
Mhm.
day, like until I pick them up from school. So I do skip some steps in my grooming process, but I have to stick to my schedule.
Mhm.
I also have a lot of help. So I recommend to anybody, as you make more money, you need to start putting money aside to pay for support staff. What is
Right.
support staff? I hired a wife, I call her. She's my personal assistant. She helps me around the house. She comes on Fridays and she just kind of picks up the girls' rooms, kind of helps me organize a little bit.
Mhm.
She picks little sections. She does what a wife would do, for
Yeah.
me. So it's fantastic, and she helps me with the laundry. I have
Mhm.
house cleaners. They come and they clean the house. As my income allowed, and
Mhm.
it wasn't all at once. It was step by
Yeah.
step. It was like, oh, I can afford a house cleaner now.
Mhm.
I can afford daycare. I can afford a nanny. I
Right.
can afford this. So you got to invest in that, because the amount that you're going to pay them, say you pay them 15 or whatever an hour, depending on kind of going rates in your area, but like 15 to $20 an hour, you have to
Mhm.
think, well, if I'm making $100 an hour or more,
Right.
it's worth it. I mean, it's no brainer that it makes sense to hire someone. Your time is better spent doing what makes you more money.
Mhm.
Their time, is better spent doing that for $20 an hour.
Absolutely. I agree. That amazed me too. Like, you know Barbara Corcoran, right, from Shark Tank,
Love her.
right? Like, I remember I had a family member saying, "Yeah, I nannied for this lady in New York. She's apparently famous." I'm like, "Well, what's her name?" Barbara Corcoran. I'm like, "Well, yeah,
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
course." I definitely know her, but yeah, man, she said the same thing. Like, yeah, she had to get support in as well, and especially where she's even an older mom, right? Like, she's doing that in her like 50s and 60s, so yeah, it was kind of cool to see that happen, but obviously that's not something you just throw right in. Like, that's got to be developed over time.
Yeah, I've been developing this over 8 years. So
Yeah.
and it's very much for me, it's lifestyle by design. I
Mhm.
basically outsource everything I hate doing. So
Yeah.
it started with 8 years ago, me doing everything.
Mhm.
And then it was, okay, the first thing I need is I need childcare. Like once I quit my full time job and I started doing investing full time, because I
Mhm.
did do investing first with the corporate, full time job. I did both for a year. I started my company and I did both for a year until I had enough money and savings to quit my full time job. And
Wow.
then I thought I could work with my children at home.
Hmm.
And I learned very quickly that that's impossible.
Uh-huh.
So as soon as I made, I felt comfortable enough to put my kids, to afford some daycare, I put them in daycare 3 days a week. And it just built from there. It was like, and now the house cleaners, and then the a nanny or a personal assistant.
Yeah.
And also hiring staff, for your actual business. The seller calls, we do a lot of direct to seller marketing. So we could get in, 5 to 12 new seller leads per day, Monday through Friday. I don't have time for that. So that's the first thing I hired for my company is, an acquisitions manager.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. You got to keep delegating and keep building that out.
for sure. For sure. Yeah.
Yeah. That's true. I mean, I keep thinking of what my life would be like if I was more full time because I'm semi retired, right? And I've got 8 kids with blended family of 8. So it can get chaotic some of those days. Those are the days I cannot focus at all. Like just like you said, like there's no way
No,
you can focus when they're all in your ears and asking questions. It's like, okay, I checked a few emails. That was good.
yeah,
That was it.
that's it.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's crazy, but it's cool that you found that way to make it work and extremely successful. And I didn't even mention this before, but you're not only a coach, but you're a coach with Wholesaling Inc., correct?
Yes.
And a podcaster with them, which I know
Yeah.
some of our people follow that. They probably even know you already.
Maybe. Yeah. Yeah. If you
Yeah.
guys have listened in the last month, some of my episodes have started dropping, but
Mhm.
my focus is the virtual real estate investing angle. So I'm their new virtual coach. My program is virtual investing mastery.
Mm,
So it's great. A lot of my episodes have to do more with the topics of investing virtually.
yeah. So if people wanted to learn more how to invest virtually, right? Like what kind of resources would they go to or how would they find you guys to do that?
I post so much on my Instagram. I post a
Mhm.
lot of free, great content. Really actionable, items are on there. So
Mhm.
follow me on This Mom Flips. That's my handle. This Mom Flips.
Mhm.
Tons of free stuff, and I've got videos on YouTube. My videos are on the Wholesaling Inc. YouTube page,
Oh,
so
cool.
check that out. I would say, I would argue, I think my program. I mean, there's not a lot of virtual programs, so
Mhm.
I've got to say, and I'm totally biased, but I think my program's the best. So I would say, check out what, I have to say, listen to it. And if you like, my style and you think that, I could help you, I do have the coaching program that people can, apply to.
And I think one thing you have a huge advantage of too, because this was one thing that caught my eye initially when I first heard about you, right? Was one, like, it was actually someone doing wholesaling that's a woman, which is hard to find because anytime I go to the wholesaling and mastermind groups, it's almost all men, like
I,
very male dominant. And I know I have women ask me, they're like, well, okay, it's cool, but what about someone like me? Like someone I can even relate to. And it's so cool to find someone who's doing it. Like I said, been there, done that, and still doing it today. And so it's so cool to see you doing that right now, and actually like breaking that mold finally. Like I think that's awesome.
yeah, I do notice that there's definitely more, it's male dominated for sure, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I wouldn't say there's anything special about me. I mean, I think women have a lot to add, or bring to the table when it
Mhm.
comes to wholesaling. Wholesaling and investment real estate in general is the art of finding discounted deals. And the way you find discounted deals is marketing to sellers. So there's marketing, and
Mhm.
after your marketing, it's sales. And I would argue that one of the most important qualities to becoming a really good salesman or
Mhm.
saleswoman
Mhm.
is having a lot of empathy. And I think
Yes.
as a woman, we have a little bit, I don't know if it would be that we have more empathy or we just show it more.
Probably both.
Maybe a little bit of both,
Yeah,
and I think that it makes us very good salespeople.
I agree.
So I would say, to any female who is standing on the sidelines because they're a little afraid, I would say that you definitely have the advantage in that department because the empathy thing that we have makes us very good in sales. A lot of women don't realize that.
Well, and a lot of people don't realize too, the whole thing isn't about just making money. It's a very much a relationship business, and
Mhm.
especially if it's virtual, that's gotta be like dialed in. That's gotta be it's done. Like it's got to happen that way.
Absolutely. It is a people business. I always say my business is a people first business,
Yeah.
and we treat our sellers with respect. We do what we say we're going to do. We're 100% transparent. We do not lie to the sellers. We don't play games, and we don't
Hmm.
say we're going to do something we're not going to do. We don't, over
Yeah.
promise, under deliver. We always tell the sellers exactly how it is, because I don't want to have to explain, why something didn't work out or why I disappointed the seller at the end.
Hmm.
And I think that, again, that's empathy, knowing that, kind of being able to put yourself in the seller's shoes, knowing, that they're probably dealing with a situation. So they're looking at you to solve their problem and help them at a time in need. So the last thing they need is, some smooth talker
That's
who's
right.
also a really good negotiator to beat them down on price and then lock them under contract and then take advantage of them at that point.
Yeah.
So I think as a female, I'm able to, portray that, that, hey, I'm an empathetic person. I can see that you're in a situation. Let me tell you how I've helped other people in that situation. This is how we can help you. And listen, no matter what, even if we don't end up working together, I'll point you to any direction that will help you. I'm happy to help either way. So
That's a huge advantage right there.
right, and a lot of our competitors who are males, like
Mhm.
I've taught. I do have men on my team,
Yeah.
but they learned the script is from me, and what
Mm,
they say is
cool.
from me. So they talk like I just talked right there.
Yeah.
They don't talk like, what they read in a book, like, or what, the Wolf of Wall Street or anything.
Right.
They talk the way I talk. I taught them, my script and my sales approach. And they always say, Nat, like I hear it all the time, like, oh yeah, we were talking to these other investors, but they were just so pushy, and they weren't, they were just like kind of hard nosed negotiators, where you guys just like seem like you want to just be our friends.
Yeah.
So
I love
it's
it.
important.
Lauren, this is awesome. Like, and I know we'll definitely make sure we get that Instagram handle in there as well as the YouTube link because we got to have people following you. This is good stuff.
Oh, thanks.
So, well, thank you so much for joining us today. This has been incredible. Everybody, reach out to Lauren. Like, check her stuff out. Check out her Instagram. All the education she's got there, and great, just great resources you can utilize. That it's so essential, especially if you're looking to go into an active type role in this business. Because passive is good, right? We talk about a lot about passive investing, but active investments where real wealth can be created on a much more amplified basis. Passive is great if you got a lot of money, but using your time and energy with your money, man, you guys can create multi-million dollar type of businesses doing this kind of stuff. So definitely check your stuff out. So everybody, thank you so much for joining us today. I hope you make it a wonderful and prosperous week. And we'll see you later.
Thank you. Yes. Hey! Visit us online at moneyripples.com for more resources to help you fix money leaks and get your money working harder for you now.